The following is me, Sarah Neila Elkins, reading Book of CoL Recovery 2, Part 2, on Friday, October 18th, 2024. And like I said before, today I am reading Book of CoL Recovery 2, Part 2. And this time it's a three-parter. Let's go ahead and get started. Book of CoL Recovery 2, Part 2.1. Transcript of SNC Television interview with Paige Simmons on Travel Tonight. Saturday, November 10th, 2039. Sven Travel. Is there any merit to rumors you plan to sue the creators of Book of Secrets for defamation to stop production of the show? Paige Simmons. Why the hell would I do that? The mid-season finale is this week. I need to know if Thesaurus is going to close the portal and get his girlfriend back. And what about the Army of the Undead? What's up with them? They've been quiet the last 2 episodes. Are they even tied to the portal? Sven Travel. Yes. I think that rumor just died. A lone figure, broad-shouldered and tall, stands at one end of a well-lit football field. It's the dead of night. Thesaurus' book is alone. His chestnut skin stands out against his light football jersey. Feet planted square in the grass, hands balled into fists. The air at the far end zone pulsates and shimmers as strange, colorful energies are emerging from a vortex affected. The goalpost shudders with each new wave of light that bursts from the portal. Everyone else is gone. They ran like I told them to, but I can't rest. It's on me to rescue Karen, Thesaurus says to himself. No one else has the power I do. I'm our only shot. Thesaurus' football jersey, number 8, stretches out with him as he grows in height to become a giant. The white and maroon fabric strains to contain his new height and added muscle. His shifted form has stone-gray skin, ears lengthened into points, fangs and eyes glowing the deep green of a frost giant. I have to use this power for good, Thesaurus says. His deep booming voice rattles the stands flanking the football field. The sinister whinnying of horses echoes through the night, catching Thesaurus' attention. He turns frantically, searching for the source. Out of the fog and darkness beyond the football field emerge hundreds of undead knights, zombies, soldiers from every era. Some ride spectral horses while others march on foot. The army of the dead, he hisses before dropping into a wide-legged martial arts stance. He puts his fists up, ready to fight. Come at me if you dare. I'm a child of Loki. A voice tisks from the darkness. Really, Thesaurus? I thought I taught you better than to assume the worst. Coach Hearth? Thesaurus' ears perk up. A tall man with wild fiery red hair and milky white skin covered in freckles chuckles as he emerges from the horde of undead. He claps his hands as he grins a toothy smile, showing fangs similar to Thesaurus' own. Also, thought you had it figured out. I'm not here to fight you. You can't go through the portal alone and unarmed, Coach Hearth replies. I suppose my disguise has been more effective than I realized. Fear not, this army. My daughter, your sister, has been kind enough to loan them to us for the time being. Your daughter? Yes, my sister Hela, or my daughter Hela. You mean your... Coach Hearth grins as his eyes begin to spark and flicker with live flames. My dear book, I'm Loki. Holy fucking shit, Melanie shouts from my laptop at the same time I say just about the same words in a slightly different order. The credits have started to run, and I can hear we're not the only people reacting similarly to the end of this episode of Book of Secrets. 2 stories above me, Thunderskull is losing his mind in a mix of English and Spanish. His feet are loud as he runs to the door of his unit and down the hallway. I don't even have to adjust my hearing to track him. He's just that excited and loud. Oh my god, Paige. Oh my gods, Melanie says. All of the gods. All of them. Holy shit. I know, right? Coach Hearth has been Loki this whole fucking time? It was him, right? He's the one who's been behind the undead army and shit. Oh my gods, I reply. He's Thesaurus' dad. The one who skipped town before he was born? Holy shit, he's been watching over him this whole time. Yeah, I'll put this back on. Thunderskull has just left the stairway down the hall and is quickly racing to my unit. I get up from the couch and wave to Melanie with one hand. Hold on a sec, Mel. What's wrong? What's that noise? I reach the door just as Thunderskull begins to knock incredibly loudly. He barely stops himself before smacking me in the face when I open the door. The flames in his eye sockets go out momentarily before bursting out so intensely that I can actually feel heat. Book, oh my gods, did you see it? I can't help but laugh a little because there is a 7.5 foot tall skeleton man with a pair of horns and flaming eyes standing in the hallway outside my door, absolutely giddy about the show that just aired. His right arm is still unshifted, fleshy with warm brown skin, and a pink cast that has a few signatures written on it in marker. Mine included. I did, it was amazing. You want to come in? What's going on? Eterna, my neighbor across the hall, asks from her door. I heard yelling. Are you okay, Paige? I'm fine, I reply as Thunderskull ducks down to enter my apartment. Don't gouge my ceiling with your horns, please. Oh, right, he says before shrinking down to 6 feet. Eterna's left her apartment. She's also about as tall as Thunderskull is at the moment. Her horns are longer than Thunderskull's, sweeping back rather than up, and her skin is deep red, which looks good paired with her black pajamas and short dark hair. The PJs are obviously shift ready, as evident by the half sleeve that accommodates her long forked tail. The odor of fresh baked goods wafts from her unit as usual, which reminds me I never touched the popcorn I made since I was too distracted watching Book of Secrets. Did you... She stutters. I saw the end of the show, I say. Eterna's long pointed ears pivot nervously as she asks, What did you think? Eterna and I haven't spoken much since she helped organize a massive group chat. Without her, we wouldn't have been able to evacuate people from the CoL church when I faced down Ezekiel a couple months ago. Sure, she did help me unpack some boxes after I was discharged from the hospital, but I think the news that I really am Book from the CoL study hit her pretty hard. That, or it was the fact that I turned into a soundproof meat box in front of her once that did it. She did seem pretty unsettled by the cardboard boxes when she helped me unpack. I loved it, I say. A weight appears to be lifted from Eterna's shoulders. She lets out a huge sigh. Oh my gods, it was amazing! Coach Hearth? I know, right? You want to come in? Oh, sure, yes, I'll bring snacks, Eterna says before disappearing back into her apartment. What's going on? Another voice, one I don't recognize, asks. It comes from the person who lives to the left of Eterna. They wear glasses designed for someone who is 7 feet tall, which is good because that's their current height. Their hair is dark and straight, in a cute bob style. Being super tall and having horns seems to be the in thing right now, I think to myself. I really need to subscribe to some CoL-style magazines or something to keep up with trends. This bespectacled person doesn't have horns, however. Instead, they've got colorful butterfly wings growing from their back. Sorry about the noise, I say. Thunderskull just got excited about the finale. Thunderskull? They ask. The party skeleton? Yeah, I leave my unit and take a step toward them. We haven't met yet. I live across the hall. Paige Simmons. She, he, they, whatever, I'm flexible. I'm also Book, but not the one from the show. I've got the snacks, Eterna says behind me. Can you get my door? Yeah, sure, I reply before shutting her unit as she carries several reusable plastic containers full of cookies and muffins. I immediately wonder if we've been missing one another because she's just been baking rather than having become terrified of me. She probably stress baking because Book lives across the hall. Daisy, Eterna's neighbor says. She and her. It's an honor to meet you. Are you having a party? I lean over to peek through my front door. Thunderskull is on the couch talking to Melanie on my laptop, and Eterna is setting up enough snacks in my kitchen counter to feed a small army. Looks like it. Not that it was planned. I have juice and punch, Daisy says. May I? Absolutely, I say. Do you have cups? Because I only have a couple myself. Yes, I have some left over from Halloween. I went to Thunderskull's party instead of the one I planned to, because my other friends had to cancel, Daisy says excitedly. It was a good party. She covers her mouth. I didn't see you there. I laugh. I was in costume. Recovery 2, Part 2.2. Parties aren't really my thing. I'm not used to going to them, much less throwing one. Didn't get invited to them growing up, didn't care about them in college, haven't bothered having much of a social life outside of working with the CoL lab, really. Thunderskull is more than excited about this being an actual party and opts to head upstairs to grab his vintage stereo. It's not a small setup, so he takes several trips to get all the pieces. I wish he'd use the stairs instead of climbing the balconies up to his unit and back down. The skull guy is fun, Melanie tells me over the computer. Eterna too. Damn cute. The demon look works for her. And easy there, you're married and she's like 19. She laughs and nods before glancing at the time on her screen. Hey, I gotta go. Young me should be off work soon. Already home, Young me says from outside of frame. I saw that demon chick too. She is hot. Tensions between the police and CoL have been extra high after a large number of police were aiding Ezekiel in his plot a couple months ago. There have been protests urging police reform around the country, including here in Austin. I have no idea how the random strangers who are filing into my apartment might react if they see a cop on my laptop in the middle of my living room. I glance around quickly to make sure no one's watching my computer. People are setting up for the party and ignoring me for the moment. On the monitor, young me walks up behind Melanie and gives her a kiss. She's still wearing her police dispatch uniform. I never thought you'd throw a party, Paige, young me says. Me either, I say while looking around again. I should pack up my laptop and block off my bedroom real quick. Good idea. The show was epic, Paige. Have a great night, Melanie says before blowing a kiss at the camera. You too. Love you guys. We close the connection and I fold up my computer before dashing upstairs with it under my arm. I don't have a ton of belongings, but the ones I do have are largely stored in my loft bedroom. The space doesn't really have a front door. What I do have is a bookshelf that Melanie and Young Me gifted me as a housewarming gift. I set my laptop on the bed before strengthening my body just enough to pick up the fully loaded bookshelf and carry it to block the top of the stairs. Blocking the entryway like this should keep strangers from wandering up here. If anyone needs to use the restroom, they'll have to go elsewhere. I open the sliding door to my bedroom balcony and take a page from Thunderskull, quickly climbing down it to the lower balcony. When I re-enter my apartment through the living room, there are more people mingling and chatting among themselves than before. Thunderskull has his stereo set up on a table I've never seen before, playing the soundtrack to Book of Secrets. I smile when he cautions someone not to gouge my ceiling with their antlers before making his way over to me. Book, you okay? He asks. It's impressive he can look concerned when his face has no muscles or skin. Yeah, I've just never actually thrown a party before, I reply. You'll do great. Besides, you've got the party night here to help out, he replies. After a moment, he leans over to ask, You gonna stick with the pajama look? Shit. I was watching Book of Secrets in my PJs. They're shift-ready wear. Anywhere brand, actually. Not an expensive set, but not the cheapest ones available. Class B CoLs, generally, can't shift their clothing for long. Right now, I can do a few things a Class B is unable to, but my powers seem to be mostly in line with what that class can manage. I may as well test it out. The worst that will happen is I'll still be wearing the same thing. Oh, the worst that will happen is I've underestimated where I'm at in recovery, shred my clothing, and wind up standing in the middle of my own party, stark naked. I correct myself. I try anyway. My clothing doesn't change as quickly as I'm used to. The change feels like a snail by comparison. But the shift is startling enough to cause Thunderskull to back away from me. Holy, he gasps. You... I look up at him. Is this not going to work? I've changed my pajamas, formerly a standard-looking long-sleeve shirt with flannel-style pants, into a pair of jeans and a t-shirt with the white body and maroon sleeves. The Thesaurus Book's jersey number 8 is printed on the front of the shirt. He nods. Yeah, that's just... You have shiftable pajamas? And you said you were a bee right now. Yes, and yes, I say. Before shift-ready clothing was a thing, I shredded quite a few sets of PJs. I don't sleep in anything basic. Are all your clothes shift-ready? He asks. Not all of them. It's then I notice that a couple people are filming us with their phones. They probably caught me shifting my PJs. Most everyone else is enjoying the growing party and snacks. From the looks of it, word has gotten out whose unit this is and why I'm throwing a party. I can't let fears or worries get me down. This is a time to have fun. You don't have any shift-ready clothes, do you? I asked Thunderskull. No, he says. Well, let me know if you want me to take you shopping sometime. I mean, if you won't mind the distraction of people filming wherever I go. I offer while shrugging towards some of the people who are still filming us with their phones. I swear to gods, the 6'6" skeleton man with flaming eyes and horns blushes. His cheekbones turn the same shade of pink as his arm cast. I don't want him to have the wrong idea. As friends, I say. We're friends? He squeaks. Of course, Thunderskull, I reply. I wouldn't let just anyone throw a party in my house. He stands there stunned. I'm surprised Thunderskull didn't realize I consider him a friend, but then again, his busted arm is a constant reminder of the terrible first impression he made. If I can't forgive someone for throwing a punch at me and hurting themselves, then what kind of person am I? I raise my voice enough to be heard over the chatter and the music. Thank you for coming. I'm new to this whole party thing, so please be considerate and don't gouge my ceiling with your horns or anything. Upstairs is off limits, as is my fridge. If you've taken anything from it, I will find you because I am a detective. Plus, I don't want to have to run to the grocery store again this week. Also, we've got to wrap this up at midnight. I've got a thing tomorrow. Please, have a good time. Are you really booked? Someone shouts from the kitchen. Yeah? Prove it! The same guy shouts with a laugh. The room goes silent, save for the stereo behind me playing an emotional rock ballad from season 2. Thunderskull looks worried, as do Eterna in the kitchen and Neoni, who just walked in. I haven't seen Neoni since she gave me a ride home a couple months ago. She was a bartender at Stick Shifters in September. She witnessed one of my more extreme shapeshifts firsthand when I had to keep the building from collapsing. There was a good deal of screaming from people at the time, and sure, some of it was because of the man with the giant snakes for arms beating the people to death, but a lot of the screaming was because of me. One witness described me as a helpful cosmic horror. There's no way I could change like that right now. I was able to will my clothing to shift, but I can feel that I've done it. Like an ever-present pressure. It's not like feeling tired yet, but I know I can't keep this shift going indefinitely like my final fight with Ezekiel. What I can do right now is exactly copy someone else. So I do that. The shapeshift still feels like I'm made of molasses. Everyone stares as I change into an identical copy of Thesaurus' book from the finale of the television show. I am nowhere near as tall as he was in the final shots, but that's fine. Even if I could get that big right now, there's no reason to wreck my apartment. I'm a bit taller than Thunderskull, who looks up at me and raises a brow ridge. I wonder why people choose to have fangs like this all the time. They're neat, but seem troublesome. I don't like to shift into celebrities or characters, but figured this will break the tension that's built among the people who've seen my more extreme forms in the news. You asked if I'm Book. Did you mean this one, or me? Because I was already in basic, I ask, my voice and intonation exactly like the character from the show. Everyone erupts into cheers. I shift back to basic. Remember, this party will end at midnight, and have a good time, and please don't wreck my stuff. Recovery 2, Part 2.3. I do my best to introduce myself to people. Many of them have been leaving me the occasional letter slipped under the door. I feel awkward and stiff while talking. I am very much not a party person. When I went to Thunderskull's Halloween bash, I was dressed as the Invisible Man. In that I was actually invisible, with sunglasses, a hat, and non-shifted clothing. Thunderskull's Dia de los Muertos party was very similar to the Halloween one, except I wore real face paint instead of shifting my skin to look like a skull. Tonight, I recognized many of the people from those parties, some of whom I spoke to at the time, but none of them realized who I was until now. What if they resent me for hiding who I was? After a while, I find myself in the corner near the stereo looking at my phone, which is pretty much how my time at any party has ever gone, except for when I crashed Thunderskull's party and he broke his arm on my face. Here is the illustration for this chapter. Most of the partygoers have begun to file out since it's nearing midnight. It's been less a party and more a get free snacks at Paige's apartment. Wingate texted me at 8:30 reminding me to be ready tomorrow morning to try car shopping again. I replied, "We'll be there," but never got a response. What happened to your phone? What? I ask as I look up. Neoni has a cup of fruit punch and a half-eaten muffin in hand. She points at my screen, which is cracked, courtesy of Ezekiel. It's hard to tell for certain, but I think the battery may be damaged as well, because the back of the phone has a bit of a curve to it now. It's holding a charge fine, but I'll look into getting a new phone if the battery swells more. Oh, yeah, the screen, I stutter. I hold the phone up for her to see and wiggle it. It happened in the fight. Your phone survived that? She asks. Ezekiel nicked me one of the times he stabbed me, I explain. I should get the screen replaced. I can't believe you're even alive, she says before leaning against the wall and sipping her drink. I mean, I can. I saw you at the club and all, but the church was on another level. I didn't realize you guys even had a cooldown period to hit. You could probably die, right? Technically, I killed Ezekiel at one point. Yeah, probably, I say. The air feels heavy between us. I feel even more awkward than I have the entire party. The last time I spoke to Neoni, she was rattled, and not just because she had lost her job after the building was destroyed. I'm not even sure the people being murdered in front of her was what did it. She certainly wasn't bothered by seeing me transform into a gigantic network of flesh and steel to keep the building from collapsing, She tried to get me to go to her place after that. Nope. The final nail that night was when she deduced who I was on the drive home. Book. I've thought about it, and if you could put in a word for me, I'd like to go, she finally says, breaking the tension. To the study, if that offer still exists, that is. I know they put out the official call for as many Class S's as they can get, but if there's room for someone like me, I'd like to go. Oh, absolutely, I blurt out. We need to study more atypical CoLs for sure. The offer still stands. She narrows her eyes. Atypical? It's the name we've been spitballing for CoLs who don't fit the current rating? You're not the only one. Hell, right now I'm pretty atypical, I explain. Meaning? Where I'm at in my recovery, I'm a Class B right now, I say before becoming invisible, including my clothing. But I can do this, and have been able to since I was still clocking in at a D. Holy shit! I return to basic, careful to keep my clothing shifted to be a shirt and jeans rather than switching them back to pajamas. I can hold simple shifts longer than a D or C, but it's harder to do bigger things for long right now. Copying thesaurus wasn't as easy as I'm used to. I've been thinking of it as a B+. Can you do metal? I haven't tried to shift any part of myself to metal in several days. It didn't work last time. I focus on my hair, willing it to change into spring steel. I feel myself straining, but the shift does happen, slowly. The short buzz cut on the back and sides of my head feels like a metal brush. If I had one handy, I could clean a barbecue grill with my scalp. It looks like it, but barely, I say before reverting to basic. My eyes are watering a bit, which I've never had happen before. How are you doing? What? I haven't seen you since you gave me a ride from Stick Shifters, I say. Are you doing all right? Yeah, just... It's been a lot to take in, she says. She points at me with her drink. You really are Book. Yep. I kind of thought it was a joke, she says. But it's true, right? Dr. Hailu is one of the top contacts on my phone. I pull up my contact list and show Neoni Hailu's PFP. It's a photo of the doctor in her office with her potted plants and purple plastic cat ears on a headband. She's making a peace sign with one hand while sticking her tongue out. Pretty sure Dr. Hailu has me down as Book in her phone. You could call her at any time? I've been sending her weekly reports about my recovery, I reply. I'll have to let her know I managed to shift metal today. If you give me your contact info, I'll get you in the study. It'll start at the beginning of February, just before CoL Day, and run through June. All expenses paid, and you get a check at the end. Would that be okay? Yeah, that'd be great. And that is the end of Recovery 2, Part 2.3. If you've enjoyed listening to me read Book of CoL here on YouTube, or Twitch, you can read the book in its entirety on Tapas for free. And please don't forget my other series, Slayer of Yggdrasil, currently running on Tapas. It is part of the Tapas Action Fantasy Novel Writing Contest and features Rebecca Holt, who is transported to a magical world and then infected by a sentient man-eating axe, and must go on a quest to destroy the corrupted world tree Yggdrasil. Please check it out and help me have a chance of placing in the contest. Thank you.